Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and this episode I'm going to be talking about Roadhog, just my thoughts on the character. Before I talk about my thoughts on Roadhog, let's go over his abilities. You can left click to shoot your shot. It does very solid damage up close. You can see nearly one shot by shooting the body. You shoot the head, and actually one shot. It's very rare that happens, but it does a solid amount of damage. At medium ranges, that center particle that you see when I shoot, like that big thing of 3, that's going to be most of your damage at a longer range. Everything else spreads out a bunch, like you can see there. And that happens here as well, right? The medium ranges, solid damage. You know, his shots are very well spaced apart, so you can easily be out-healed at most medium ranges. This is counteracted by, first off, his pig pen, which is a little trap here on E, which gets activated when people get close enough to it. And it's also a hook, where you can hook people and pull them toward him. Does very small amount of damage on the hook. But combined with your shot and your pig pen, so you know, you hook, pig pen, shot, you can generally one-shot someone. And I say generally because that actually can be out-healed, how crack supports are. You could also like one-shot very light heroes by shooting, hooking, then shooting again. But hook can be dodged. And then your right-click is a self-heal. You can self-heal like, I think, half your health. And while you're healing, you take half of your damage that you normally do. That's pretty much all there is to say in terms of how the abilities work. His ults is Roadhog, which does damage and knockback, and he fires at a huge wave of shots, and that's kind of how that works. Now that I've kind of went over the basic abilities, I want to actually talk about the character and how I feel about Roadhog in general. In Overwatch 1, whenever I played tank, which was rarely, I actually wasn't a tank player in Overwatch 1 at all. I just never got into it. I think I would like it now. If Overwatch 1 was back, I have played some 6v6 and customs that was, you know, adjusted with numbers to make it similar to the 6v6 in Overwatch 1. I actually had a great time playing tank then. I think I just, you know, I was a lot worse back in the day, so I didn't understand the appeal of tank. But as I've played this game more and more, and I've understood more and more about the game, I'm a lot more appealing to me to just play tank in general. But before that point, Roadhog was my go-to tank. You know, back when I was a Junkrat main in Overwatch 1, I would just play Hog whenever I did tank placements or comp points or whatever. It was because he was fun, right? You basically had a one-shot back in the day, and even in Overwatch 2 for a while, you had a one-shot where if you just hook somebody and shot once, they would die. It felt very satisfying to hit hooks. It still feels very satisfying to hit hooks, even on larger characters like Winston, whatever. And yeah, I mean, hook is a super satisfying ability. His shots, they've changed. He used to have a left click and a right click, which was right click was for further damage. Left click was like a shotgun thing for point blank. Now he just has... Yeah, there's also some wacky shit. I didn't really explain this. There's some wacky shit you can do when you do hook people. Like if you turn your screen certain ways, you like look down, look left, whatever. It will have varying different effects. You see right there, that was the good old combo of hook, shoot, and melee. The damage numbers are adjusted now, so that's not enough. You either need some teammate to damage them beforehand, you have to like left click, hook, left click like I showed before, or you have to throw down that little trap. But overall, honestly, pretty just fun character to play as. The question now obviously becomes, how does it feel to play against Hog? And that's kind of really the big question, right? I don't really know, honestly. Like, when I play against Hog, because all the Hogs I fought are so much worse than the other tanks I face in GM, I generally think he's non-problematic. But I also know that those Hogs suck from experience, so I don't know what it'd be like to face Hogs at your elo, if that makes sense. I really just don't. So I can't really speak much on how I feel like the balance of this character is. All I can speak on is the fact that most of his tanking is in his right click, where he self-heals and takes like, I think, 40% reduced damage while he's using it. And that he feels super satisfying to play. And that outside of facing Ana, who has anti-heal and sleep, this kit is perfectly fine for facing everything else. Like, as the Hog player, it feels fine. You know, you can use Hook to punish people that are in your range. That's how you make space on Hog. On other characters, you use your shield to kind of, you know, deny people space and block people off. This guy messed up. This is the ult, by the way, right? You can see I knocked him away, and I do some damage, but it's only a lot of damage point blank. One of the reasons Hog counters Winston is, first off, shotguns against Winston, generally a good combo. He's got a big hitbox and not a lot of health, so if you can catch him at a bad time, you can kill him very easily. When he ults, it's also great because his ult is like a movement-based one, so if you can adjust his trajectory by doing shitload of knockback, like with a Hog ult, that's another reason that Hog counters Winston pretty hard. You can see there, like, flick like down to the right at a certain time to make sure that D.Va would go around the corner. That was deliberate. But yeah, against like everything else, D.Va, everything else, as long as I'm not being, you know, antied and slept while I'm facing everything else, I feel like I can play against it. Even D.Va, who's very annoying to play against, because you know, all of Hog's value, really, as a character, is the fact that he's basically like a budget. He's like a DPS on the tank role, right? He's a shotgun, and that's his whole gig. And D.Va can defense matrix that shotgun for the entire game, make it very hard for you to do anything. But the thing about Ana versus Hog, and this is the thing I was going to talk about and got distracted, is it just doesn't feel great, right? Hog has no way to defend himself against Ana. He is a massive hitbox. Right? If I do like an emo here, you can see I'm a massive character, like almost 3 times the size of Mercy. Just way taller and fatter than any other character in this game, other than maybe Ball. But Ball moves at such a rapid rate that like you can kind of get around a lot of things just with mobility alone. Hog has no mobility. He has tank ability and damage, right? He tanks some damage and he does some damage. That's his whole gig. Just that one. You can see I'm antied around the corner. I'm just dead. Like I can't right click to really negate enough damage. Right? I can't get healed by my supports. Hog like requires a Q code for that exact reason. Hitting anti against tanks in general is very detrimental to those tanks, but every other tank has something they can do, right? Either you have like Queen, who can shout to give herself some temporary health while the anti is wearing off. You have like characters with barriers who can literally just put up their barrier and live for a bit. Characters like Orisa with Fortify who have like an actual reasonable amount of damage to block and get some temporary health. You know, characters like Ramatra, they can use their Nemesis form to get some extra health during anti. Because hitting the antis on characters is very, very easy. That's not the part that the other characters have over Hog. The part other characters have over Hog is the fact that if he gets antied, you know, when he gets antied, there's nothing he could do about it. Like he's just fucked. What the hell? It's weird. This D.Va got really mad with me for fucking up on Winston. It's not fucking my fault that you wanted to play Winston the one match I'm playing Hog. But yeah, overall, feels very satisfying to play as. Every other interaction against every other hero feels pretty fair on the Hog side. Doesn't feel like there's nothing you can do or whatever. Especially on maps like this with pits, you can hit some very fun hooks and stuff. It's a very fun time hooking people off the map and learning all the... I still don't even know half of the things you can do with this hook. But there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with this hook to hook people off the map, you know, around the map, around the corner. And the best Hogs have it all down, but I don't, and every day I learn like a new way to hook someone, and it's fucking cool as hell, bro. Hook is like one of the most satisfying abilities in the game, and it's tied to a character that's mostly fun. The problem is with Hog, he has no way of blocking anti or sleep. Like, it's straight up no way. There's nothing he's able to do. And that's just a problem for him. This guy keeps falling for it. I don't know why he's letting me do that. They back off, I guess. Yeah, this spot on this map is particularly nice, so you can hook around the corner and then back around the corner, and it'll hook him to the pit there. I learned that when I was playing against a guy called Richie, and we did a Hog v Hog. You could kind of do it there as well. You could see like that, but D.Va flew back up, which is rather unfortunate, because that was actually, it's a surprisingly difficult one to hit. The problem with Hog versus Ana is you have no way of blocking her anti or her sleep, and you have the biggest hitbox of any tank, which makes it very impossible to play into her without someone who can get rid of it for you. Because sleep is you're gonna take like 500 damage frame 1 if you get slept. See, that Reaper fell for it again, man. They keep falling for the same hook. It's crazy. You see, she missed sleep. That's crazy. You can see that's out of range, right? Hook has range. That's how it's balanced. There's like a certain area around Hog, right? It's almost like a Winston bubble area where you really don't want to just be like engaging in fights with him for no reason. You need an actual plan when you're fighting Hog. And that's how he makes space. He denies space with his hook by saying, like, if you go around this corner at the wrong time, you're gonna get hooked. That's like his main gig. That's how the character works. That's how you make space. That's how you play him as a tank. That's how you get value on a Hog. Pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry. And very fun. As the Hog, it's very fun. Mainly hitting the hooks is the fun part. Everything else is just kind of bonus. But yeah. That's really my thoughts on Hog. I love playing him. Tank versus tank, he doesn't feel awful to play into unless you're on like Winston. And that's just a particularly bad matchup for Winston. Yeah, Winston doesn't like playing against Junker Queen either. Playing against Ana and Hog is just impossible. Like it's probably the worst matchup in the game, to be honest. Because every other matchup, it might suck, but it's not like you die. With Hog versus Ana, you are just dead. Like there's nothing you can do about anything. I do appreciate my BAP here, keeping me up at fucking 15 health or whatever I was just see ya. He teleports back up. You can see cross map sleep, like it's super easy to hit. I've been that Ana, that is the easiest sleep in the entire game to hit by like a mile. Thought Sombra might still be there, so I went for that. But yeah, overall fun hero. You can see I'm surviving a lot. I have 6,000 heals. I almost have more heals than my supports. Your main thing as Hog is just being super tanky, like face tanking damage. You take the damage and then you heal it back up yourself. I was gonna hook and I got slapped at that exact moment. See, both DPS on me with a damage boost, with anti and sleep. Like I'm gonna die eventually. It's not like you're immortal, but that was me tanking everything alone without any help from supports. With some support assistance, that even becomes manageable. Like it's fun. It's just fun. I just gotta dick around, you know, hook people whenever I feel like it. Get rewarded in whatever way the game feels worth rewarding me. But you can see I get antied, and there's nothing I do. I got antied at 100 health as I was about to heal myself. And Ana, I don't even know where Ana threw that. I don't even know, you know, what the relationship was there. But yeah, that's the problem with Hog versus Ana. Yeah, they pull out like the funny. I did like both my supports, but they pull out like the funny Reaper and Diva and Ana, and it's just like. You're gonna have a bit worse of a time. I don't mind playing against any of those individually except Ana. Mainly just Ana, honestly. Playing against Diva and Reaper, you saw how many times I hooked Diva and Reaper off the map. It was like a fucking million trillion times. The Sombra kept trying to hack me and it was like, who cares? You know, I still have my shotgun, can shoot people. But the big problem was Ana. I want to actually pull up that last fight to kind of show my point, why that's a problem. I don't even know how you fix it either. Because if you make it so his healing thing cleanses him, then Hog becomes overpowered. He's already rather strong, even playing against Ana, like he can be pretty strong. A lot of people are playing him on tank. He feels very fun to play, you know. The ability to effectively one-shot people with like a little bit of a ranged attack is a very unique thing on tank. You know, Hog is normally who I go against characters like Pharah and stuff, because I feel confident I can hook Pharahs out of the sky. But I just want to see from the Ana's POV, like, you know, she's just playing super safe, out of range of hook. That's all you have to do to beat Hog, by the way, is play out of hook range and just kind of snipe him. Like, look at the nade in a slower speed. Oh, I'm already dead. This is too far. Let's see, like from here, like Ana's playing way back here. I can't hook her. I'm out of range. There you go. The nade landed here while I was behind card over here. It's gonna hit me for 3 seconds. I'm just fucked. The devs were smart. Sorry, that reptile was funny as hell. But the devs were smart enough to make it so that, you know, sleeping tanks, because that's really easy to hit on any tank in the same way the anti is. Sleeping tanks has less of an effect. Antiing tanks has the same effect as antiing anyone else, which means, as Ana, especially against Roadhog, who has so much self-sustain and self-heal, just throwing anti in Hog's general direction every time you have it, it's just like a guaranteed hit. It's very hard to miss anti or sleep on Hog, and both of them basically just kill the character. Because when you're sleeping, when you're sitting on the ground, you have no way of reducing damage with your right click. And when you're antied, you can reduce damage with your right click, but you can't heal back up, which is 90% of your value as a tank, is the self-heal while reducing damage, right? It's like for example, if antiing Ryan made it so he couldn't pin or shield. It's like, well, he can swing his hammer and he can fire strike, but that doesn't matter if he can't pin to get in or out or shield to block any incoming damage, right? It's just fucked. And that's what Hog has to deal with, except he has no counterplay. Most other tanks have mobility, shields or something to get around anti-nade. Hog literally just needs the cleanse that Kiriko gives him to be able to survive that, or something like Bab's Immort to kind of outlast that. But it's kind of ridiculous. Without support, it's like you're just fucked. Like, no other interactions are really like that in this entire game. Like, I'm just gonna eyeball the whole roster and see if there's another interaction that feels like that in this game. I don't really think there is. There's not a character like Ana who just completely fucks the Hog. Right? She outranges Hog, and she has 2 different abilities that both are like a guaranteed kill on the Hog. The sleep is a near guaranteed kill, and a very common combo as Ana is to hit the sleep on Hog. As he's waking up, just throw the anti at him, and then he can't heal himself unless he's a Kiriko. And if you are a Kiriko and you have a Hog on your team, for the love of God, stop using cleanse when Hog is asleep, because that's not what kills him. Like, when you get slept as Hog, yes, you take a lot of damage. Like, yes, you're going to be low, but you can recover. You can press right click. You will have 40% reduced damage. It's almost like a Fortify. It's not as strong as Fortify. Fortify is just stronger because it also blocks incoming stuns. So, like, for example, if you get slept and they have a Hog, he could actually just hook you while you're healing and get you out of it. A Doom can punch you. A Ryan can pin you. If there's, for some reason, a second Ana, she could sleep you. Like, there's a lot of ways to still stun him and get him out of his healing animation. Fortify doesn't have that weakness. None of those things would stop Orisa when she's fortified. But what happens is you sleep the Hog. Very, very easy to do. I mean, very, very, very easy to do. And then when he's waking up, you just throw anti. And then basically he's going to take about like 400 or 500 burst damage when he gets slapped. And then when you then anti him when he's on 200 health, now he's on 200 health, taking incoming damage with the biggest hitbox in the game. And unless he gets cleansed, which makes him immortal and heals him everything, like, he's just dead. Right? Like this is sleep on Hog. Like, I'm surprised that didn't hit, to be honest. I think if I go here, is this gonna hit? You might have to actually aim sleep directly at him, but I mean, look at that fucking chonky ass hitbox. Like, this is just a big character. He's a big fucking guy. I think you do have to hit more directly than this projectile. Yeah, like this. I mean, I guess that was on his arm. You can see the reduced sleep did take effect, but at that point, when he slept, when he's sitting on the ground, the tanks are the front line. When Hog is the front line, he slept on the ground like that, you all just pile in on him. Everybody shoots him, right? He's going to be down to, like, I don't know, let's say this amount of health when he wakes up, just about, right? So you sleep him, he wakes up with that, and then as he wakes up, you're taking your last shots, you do that, and then he's dead. Like, nothing you can do about that. There's literally nothing on the Hog's end you can do about that. Anti is mainly the culprit of why Ana vs Hog is so bad. Sleep is a lot of it too, though, because you can't avoid sleep. Every other character, there's something they can do about sleep, right? Like, Junker Queen literally can just avoid it by being small and being hard to hit. Doom, Ball, Winston, etc. all have, like, movement. Winston even has a shield, right? Orisa has Fortify, which blocks sleep completely. Zarya has Bubble, which blocks sleep completely. Ram, Ryan, Sigma, Winston all have shields. Defense Matrix eats both abilities. It's kind of... Hog is the only tank that has no answer to sleep and anti both. Some characters only have answers to one, really, or like kind of quote-unquote answers in the case of Queen. The Queen actually has like a real answer. If you get antied on Queen, you can just press your shout button and you get like a burst of like 100 health, which generally lasts around as long as anti does. But like, here's like an example of anti. Can this hit? That can hit. Up here. Up there on the wall will hit the Hog way down there. Right, and that applies like horizontally as well. I think if this line thing wasn't here, which might block anti, you could even throw it like out here. Maybe not that far, but like you could probably aim it like here, and that's like 2 Roadhogs away from Roadhog. And what is Roadhog supposed to do about that? He just gets antied, he dies, he loses. I do think, though, I have heard from people against Roadhog, you see like that hits, and that antis you for 3 whole seconds, and you're just dead on Roadhog. Even if you have the full 700 health and your full breather, you're just dead on Roadhog. There's nothing you can do about that. You get antied and people will just eliminate you. They just shoot you, right? Anti-sleep, shoot, and you're dead. It's really fucked. Otherwise, though, Hog's really fun to play as. Generally has ways to kind of interact with other characters that feel fine. Even soft counters, well, like, not really soft counters, like harder counters like Reaper and Diva, honestly aren't that bad to play into, especially on maps where you can just hook them off the map, But that one didn't hook them off the map because I didn't do it right. I don't think I did that right to be close to the ledge. But either way, like, his one-shot only really happens if A, you're a little bit low, so, like, you know, if you got tickled like this a little bit at the start, then he can one-shot you. Or B, if he throws the trap down, you see the trap there, you know the hog's here, and then he hooks you into the trap and shoots you. That's the only ways you're gonna get one-shot by him now. When he used to be able to one-shot normally, it was actually kind of a problem, because you basically were just, there was like a big area around Roadhog where you feel like you're just in range. If you're like over here, you could just do this and you're dead. Now though, you're not just dead to Roadhog, you're dead to him and his team, and you know where he's going to be, you know where he's approaching, right? To outrange, you just have to be where that blue box is. That blue box is out of range. I didn't hear a clank there. It's pretty reasonably easy to make counterplay that. But at the same time, it might not be fun. I really don't know. I'm kind of curious what the comments have to say. Like, I was going to say. But like I'm saying, I really don't know what it's like to fight a good Roadhog. Like, unless I'm also on tank, right? Hog v Hog is fun as hell. Hog v Ryan is completely fun, right? Hog v Winston is pretty cringe for Winston, but that's just Winston versus any shotgun character. That's Winston versus Doomfist, that's Winston versus Junker Queen, versus Hog, versus Melga, versus Reaper. Right? That's just a Winston problem. That's like his only real problem. And even then, it honestly feels like there's stuff you can do, unless they have all of the above. But, yeah, outside of that, it never feels bad to fight a Hog. Right, his ult is pretty usable too, because it does a lot of knockback more than damage. Right, so what you can do, especially in characters like Reinhardt, is you can kind of like flicker your shield and just get knocked away without a lot of the damage coming in. Unless you're getting knocked off the map, you'll just live. Like, it's very hard for him to get the kill on you. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I really like playing the character. I really like the way he interacts with most other heroes. He feels extremely satisfying to hit hooks on and whatnot. And also doing hog mirrors is also extremely fun, seeing who can hook who when, you know, how you can outpredict people, how you can do some like crazy hook movement and get people off the map or around corners and stuff. Also really cool. I love how intricate his hook can be. You could see like there, he went left and right, like it zigzagged him. There's some crazy shit that people found out recently, well, probably not found out recently, but been using more recently, where you can hook someone and then teleport with Sim and have the hook just launch someone across the map, and that shit's also really cool. Like, I'm a big fan of all his tech with his hook. Otherwise, you know, his general poke playstyle, which I didn't really show off that well last game until third point, where you just kind of play around a corner, you know, like peek, you do some damage, and then you hook people sometimes and hook them around the corner so your team can fight them. Also very fun to play as, pretty easy to play against on most heroes, especially tank heroes and supports. The only thing I don't know is how does it feel to play really as a DPS into Hog. Just playing as the support, even playing Lucio, you know, BAP or whatever, you're always out of Hog's range. If you're playing too close and Hog can hook you, like most other tanks would have killed you as well, if that makes sense. Right? It's on support, that might be your problem. I'm curious how it feels as DPS though. There've been a lot of DPS players I've known, they always, well not always, but for a long time they bitched about Hog and his one-shot and how unfair it was, because they have to play into his effective range a lot of the time. That's why a lot of them end up doing things like going Reaper or whatever. On support though, unless your team's getting fucked up super hard, the Ana pick is just unnecessary. You could totally fuck up a Hog on pretty much any other support. I can't really think of a character on support that gets particularly fucked by Hog. But yeah. That being said, that's for real, all I have to say. Hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, comment below if you want to explain why you maybe don't like the character. I know he's actually a pretty divisive character. A lot of people, and pretty much everyone actually, doesn't like playing against Hog. And all the Hog players have a fun time playing the character. And that is poor hero design. I'll be honest, that it's an uncommon thing for people to say, but it is bad hero design if the people playing the character like it, but nobody else does. Because that means it's effectively, out of a lobby of 10, one person having fun. And that's not a good thing. I mean, I guess your teammates could be having fun too. I think playing with Hog is completely fine. He's pretty easy to support, pretty easy to keep up. The only problem is if they go Ana and then you need a Kiriko, it's kind of fucked. You just have to go Kiriko or BAP every time. But those characters are so varied and honestly so chill that it's whatever, that they're kind of necessary when you're playing with a Hog. But yeah, with that out of the way, please leave comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a rest of your day.